Cost so much? Well, at AA Lockdock and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lockdock and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Immerse yourself in a creative blend of art, music, and culture at the 35th Annual Downtown Festival and Art Show, November 5th and 6th in downtown Gainesville. Explore a stunning collection of artwork by 240 artists and marvel at world-class paintings, vivid photography, unique sculpture, dazzling jewelry, and so much more. Enjoy continuous entertainment on 4 stages all weekend, including a downtown blues concert on Friday night. And bring the kids for free art activities at the Children's Imagination Station. For more information, call 352-334-ARTS.
Hey everybody, did you know that there is a black bear sanctuary right here in the Ocala National Forest? While FWC has postponed the bear hunt this year, there are still perils that these magnificent creatures face. Forest Animal Rescue is finishing their state-of-the-art sanctuary on 80 acres in the Ocala National Forest. The last phase of construction is the on-site clinic to help with bear cub rehabilitation and release. Forest Animal Rescue is a 501c3. Your contribution is entirely tax-deductible. Visit forestanimalrescue.org.
All right, 20 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in every single day. We are talking about who the next president of the United States is going to be. And guess what? That happens every election cycle. So 2 weeks from today, it'll be the Friday after Election Day, and we'll know. We'll know who the next president is going to be. Who are you voting for, and why are you voting for who you are voting for? It's a topic that comes up constantly. It's on Facebook. It's on Twitter. It's on the news. Paul Miller is on the phone. He's the executive director of ProtectSeniors.org. He's going to talk to us about a national poll of retiree voters who find themselves favoring Trump by 14%. I hope I said that right. Good morning, Paul Miller. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. Where are you calling from?
Washington, D.C.
And is that accurate that retired voters are favoring Trump by 14%?
That is what the poll shows, but if you look back to 2010, retirees/seniors have been voting. The number of retirees and seniors voting Republican has gone up, and so I'm not surprised by it, particularly with the mood out there in the country today.
Do you know what okay, we work in talk radio, so we get a lot of feedback from different people for and against different candidates, not just Trump and Hillary. But in this particular case, I have heard from a few people who are for Hillary, but I'm telling you, it's got to be 98%. And of course, we're primarily a conservative talk station, so that might be why. But I was in New York a few weeks ago, and I was kind of curious what the feeling was there. And if I talked to the average person on the street, they were almost all for Trump. And I'm not saying all. There was a guy I spoke to in Washington Square Park, whatever that's called. He was definitely not for Trump. But the media, which comes out of New York a lot, is almost entirely seeming against Trump. It was interesting to see that the people on the streets are the exact opposite of what the TV shows from New York are portraying.
Well, and I think that's what this election is going to be very unique. We haven't seen one like this, at least in my lifetime. And everyone has doubted Donald Trump. He can't do this, he can't do that, and he's done everything he said he's done. I think you look at the polls today. There's one poll out yesterday that has Hillary Clinton up 14% by 14 percentage points. You have some Donald Trump saying he's up by 2%. Clearly we're somewhere in the middle. We're going to find out on Election Day. I think it's still going to be very close. I think there are a lot of people who are still afraid to say who they're actually voting for. You have early voting that the numbers are off the charts right now. I think it's over 12 million people have voted early, so you don't know where those necessarily come out yet. And you can't say that they're pro-Hillary or pro-Trump necessarily, but she has an advantage in the early voting, and that really becomes, I think, Trump's problem is the ground game and not having the surrogates that she has. So our poll, I think, is interesting. I wasn't really surprised by it. You look at some of the high numbers of folks who are still undecided. So I think it's going to be those folks in the middle who decide this thing come Election Day.
Sorry. I have a question, and I don't know if you're the person to ask, but I've heard people say they early voted and their votes were changed from Trump to Hillary. How do they know that? If I vote, I'll never know if somebody changed my vote. How does anybody know that their vote was changed?
I think it's a lot of people speculating. You hear, stories of, this voting booth was bad, this was bad. They came out yesterday and said there was, in one state, there were some problems with a voting machine that they did fix, and the votes were corrected and things like that. It's not as widespread as people want to believe it to be, and I think that's more of people just being very passionate about this election, very upset by the choices. Mm-hmm. And then frankly, and no disrespect to you all, because you are, I would consider media, but you have a lot of folks in the media who it's to their best advantage to have this, to stir up this, because it drives ratings and it keeps people's attention.
And how does having third-party candidates affect the outcome of this election with the two major parties?
Yes, you have some people who say that, if you're a Republican and you vote for Hillary Clinton or vote for a third-party candidate, that's really a vote for Hillary Clinton. The numbers don't bear that out this year. Yes, it did when Ross Perot ran. It did hurt the Republican candidate. This time, if you take the third-party candidates out there, again, if you believe the polls, Hillary's numbers actually go down and Trump's go up. So it's actually, the third party hurt her more than it does him this time around.
Oh, really? And there's 4 third-party candidates, I think, on the ballot? Mm-hmm. I think 4 of them?
Yeah. And you have Gary Johnson 2 months ago was polling 15 and 16% in quite a few states, and after a few gaffes that he had with Aleppo and some of the other interviews he had, he is now really bottomed out to 2, 3, 4%.
Yeah, well, no question why. I mean,
right?
Yeah, we kind of really disappointed that he didn't have any better answers than he had. So the poll, I often wonder about polls because, like Robin always points out, nobody's called her, nobody's called me. So there's a lot of people who aren't being counted. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, but they have modeling that they do. Again, I think the modeling is going to be very different this year because, again, Trump is not a unique candidate that we have not seen before. So, again, when you talk about being up 14%, I would throw that poll right out the window because I don't buy that for 1 minute. I think it's going to be close. I think we still have a lot of time left. But you do have to look at the gaps in voting with women. I mean, he's bottomed out there, and all the others, African Americans and Hispanics. The fact that he's this close and not doing well in those segments, tells you just the mood of the country this year, and that's the mood of our folks, our members, our retirees and seniors. They're just tired of nothing getting done.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. What is the feeling of the group Protect Seniors? What do you guys? Does the poll results, even though you're not putting a whole lot of stock in them, do they encourage what you're about? What the group is about?
Well, we've always been bipartisan in the nature of the way we've operated because retiree benefits, these aren't something that were given to people. These were earned benefits, and these were part of a contract that when these people went to work for these companies 20, 30, 40 years ago. Yeah. And they took less pay, worked longer hours, and took less vacation time, all on the promise that they were going to get these benefits when they retired. They met their obligation. Now you have companies who want to take those benefits and get rid of them as somehow they're a handout, and they're really not. So what we have asked and what the press release talks about is we're going to ask whoever's elected that in the first 100 days of their presidency that they make healthcare a huge focus and retiree healthcare and restoring those benefits a part of that.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. That is, I absolutely am 100% in agreeing with what you just said. Yeah.
Because this is the presidential year of voting, a lot more people will be out to the polls, and that will affect the general elections as well. Are more people going to start thinking for themselves, or are they just going to vote straight party?
I think you're going to have a combination of that. I mean, you have some who are just all pure Democrats who will pull the lever all the way down, and same on the Republican side. But I think you're going to have a larger chunk today just because the unpopularity of both these two candidates. You're going to have a large chunk in the middle say, well, I'm going to vote for this person down ballot, and I may vote for Hillary, but I'll vote for Republican down ballot, or vice versa. I'll vote Trump up top ballot and the Democrat down ballot, or they just won't vote for the top of the ticket and they'll vote down ballot races. And for us, that's an important piece. Regardless of where you stand, we ask and urge all our members to get out and vote, because when you look at demographics and who votes in this country, retirees and seniors are the one demographic that consistently vote over and over and over in each election. I know both parties are putting their stock in millennials, but to date, millennials have not delivered. And until they can prove to do that, it's retirees and seniors who are the folks who are voting.
Absolutely, yeah. I worked at an assisted living facility here in our area area for 3 years. And when it was election day, they didn't want to be left out. So I was driving them to the polls all the time. Yeah, they absolutely want to get out and vote. ProtectSeniors.org is the website. If we go to the site, if we could just step back from the election just for a second, what do you guys do? What do you offer?
Our organization is solely focused on protecting the benefits that are being taken away from retirees, healthcare being the biggest one. We also look at pensions. Pensions is a new issue where you have companies spinning off failing parts of their corporation and moving their retirees into those sections, and then having those companies go under so that they don't have to pay the retiree pension.
Oh, my
that's
gosh.
just shameful and sinful, and it goes against everything this country stands for.
Yeah. Oh, that is a shame. Oh, my gosh. That is horrible. Somebody works all their life. You know, we knew a couple, I'll tell you real quickly, they were from South America, so they weren't from America. But their country, what was it? Oh, gosh, what country were they from? I can't remember.
Oh, gosh.
But anyway, they had a coup in their country, whatever, and they came here. He had been a postal worker. He had a nice pension, and then they had to come here and start over again. They were emptying garbage pails in the office. They were they had a cleanup business, but.
Yolanda,
Well, and that's the sad reality of today. We tell people that, kids aren't saving today for their future. Well, we have a group of retirees who have saved and done the right thing so that they could enjoy retirement, and now it's being taken away from them. So now you're going to ask the public to pay for more of their care and their living expenses, which they never wanted that to happen.
Yeah. Oh, well, good for you. Thank you for what you're doing. ProtectSeniors.org is the website. Paul Miller, thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The defense secretary with some tough words for the Islamic State.
We're accelerating the certain,